Greetings. Hello, 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 and welcome. We are live on Facebook now for the very first Visionary Parenting online series. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad for you to come and join me. It is a pleasure, and I am so excited for this series. So this is Visionary Parenting, where we are sowing the seeds of success within us, within our children, transforming a generation to believe that they can be, do, and have anything that they desire. Now, this series we will be having powerful conversations with a variety of parenting experts, thought leaders, and parents who are taking the journey and empowering themselves and their children to grow, learn, and live abundant, successful lives as defined by them. And today, for my very first episode, I have with me my good friend, Marcia Anderson Mckenzie. She is, how can I describe her? Other than being one of my best friends, I have worked so well with for so long. She is a teacher that has 25 years experience working in schools as an English teacher, a Senko, pastoral lead, and assistant head teacher. And now she is a new author of an inspirational book. But before we even get to the book, she created this amazing game called Literacy Rich Academy. She's done so much to empower children and teachers and staff. So let me just introduce you to Marcia Anderson Mckenzie.
Thank you, Mel. It's an absolute pleasure to be one of the first on Visionary Parenting. It's an exciting journey. Yes, I think you have summed me up quite well in a nutshell. I'm an educator of 25 years, both in the primary and the secondary sector, and I've served in different capacities, in the academic capacity and in the pastoral capacity, which has given me. And also, I'd like to add, which is so important, that I am also a parent of 30 plus years. Okay, that has given me the expertise to carefully craft my resources to meet the needs of children. It's allowed me to understand how children learn, and therefore I'm able to meet the needs and create these resources like the Literacy Rich Academy board game that focuses on the spelling, punctuation and grammar, which is key to the Key Stage 2 and 3 curriculum, because I know that they're examined on that. And also, it has been a good experience for me to craft, as you've already said, being an author, and how I craft that and engage my readers. Yeah, which is good.
Which is brilliant. I just want to back up a little bit and just say, how did you get into teaching? What was your journey into teaching? Because I don't think everybody, teaching is a challenge, and there's in my eyes, I believe that there's a calling to teaching. Although my calling didn't quite come about as in like when I was growing up, I thought, oh yeah, I really want to be a teacher. I kind of fell into it a bit later, but that passion kind of developed really quickly for that calling of being a teacher. So how did you get into teaching?
Well, teaching for me is definitely a calling. I wanted to be a teacher from the age of 7.
Wow.
And I used to chalk on my parents' painted walls, much to their despair, and teach my dolls. So me, the teacher, and my dolls, the students. And I spent hours doing that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And not only did I do that, we had a local newspaper that was delivered to us on a weekly basis. And I looked forward to that delivery, because I would automatically go to the job column and look at the teaching posts. And I would read the specification, and with all my heart, I had an unshakable belief that I could meet all the criteria that was required for a teacher. I used to say, I can do that. I can do that. And one day, I used to say to my parents, one day I am going to earn £12,000 a year. Which is absolutely amazing. And I was doing a bit of clearing out a few months ago, and I actually saw my first teacher's salary, which was 14,000. So I met my target.
Wow, look at that. When you first started teaching, and as you say, you've been teaching for 25 years now. So that was 25 years ago, that salary. Amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And what's interesting in what you just said there was that from the age of 7, you already had that real strong belief that you were capable and that you could do it, you know. And I talk about all the time that that's one of the foundational key seeds that we need to plant in our children, as well as in ourselves, you know, that unshakable belief in ourselves and what it is that we want to do, you know. So you already had that at age of 7, and I believe that no doubt your parents had a great deal to do with that, in helping to nurture that.
Most definitely. They were very encouraging, you know, in their use of language. They was able to give me tutoring sessions to their affordability. They used to sit with me, help me through my work, tell me that I could do it. So they were very instrumental in my journey, definitely. And I definitely had the passion to do it, because there was a misrepresentation and there was a lack of representation of teachers that looked like me, and I wanted to be that teacher.
Yeah, I understand that. And it's funny, but when I have a conversation, like when I speak to my siblings, you know, we recognize how fortunate we were in our primary school, because we had the one black teacher. We had one black teacher in our class, in our classroom, and he was a male teacher too. And that's unheard of in the 70s. Do you know what I mean? So I totally get
definitely
that representation. So we were fortunate to have Mr. Bland. He was my teacher at Larkhall Primary down in Vauxhall, down in Stockwell, that area and stuff. I don't really give it. And we had a couple other, you know, people of color teachers as well, but it was, like you said, it wasn't easily found.
No, definitely not. I mean, through nursery to university, I didn't have a teacher that looked like me. Not once. Actually, there was a brown skin teacher, and I had her for one day. She was a supply teacher, and I went home skipping, jumping, laughing, excited, and saying, "Mom, Dad, guess what? Guess what? You know, we've got a black teacher in our class today." It was a phenomenal experience. Yeah, so throughout my education, I didn't, from nursery to university, I've never experienced having a teacher that looked like me.
Wow. Yeah. That's really, really powerful. And I think, again, that we are in a place now where we can actually say that there are so much more of us and so much more representation of us in schools and in the classrooms, in that teaching position, in that assistant head teacher position, where, you know, it's becoming a lot more. The challenges are so difficult. And the reason why we make a point of this is that, as you said, as a child, it is important for children to see positive representations of themselves as they're learning, you know, to empower that learning, to know that they're able to get there as well themselves, because they see themselves in you. Definitely. That positive representation is needed in all areas that we want to grow and be in, you know. So in every aspect of life, we need to have that for our children to see.
Definitely, they do need a sense of belonging in their education. They need a sense of belonging in their social. Every part of their life, they need to have that sense of belonging, and they only can achieve that or feel that if there is a true representation of who they are.
Yeah, totally. So when we first met, we was back in, I would say, what was that, 2013, 2012, around 2012, 2013. And I think I had just done was promoting my book, Empowering Children to Discover Their Genius. And you had your Literacy Rich Academy game. You had just created that. Now, we were both teachers in the classroom, and we've both stepped out to create something that we believed our children needed. What made you believe that your children needed this extra thing that you had created? What led you to creating that?
What led me to creating that was that, as I said, that, you know, my experience within school, and I saw where the need was, and it was just a different way of learning. It was a kinesthetic way. It was a visual way of learning, and it was also bringing the family in, which is key. They are a key link to our children's learning. Parents, you are key. You are key. Don't think that, you know, that you are not important or that you do not have any impact. You are key to your children's learning. And the Literacy Rich Academy was created to be a family game, so that parents could join in, and it could be fun and interactive, and that parents could see. They may not be able to say, my child is a band 4 or a band 6, because they haven't been trained to do so, but the game would highlight where the needs were to improve. So, you know, my child may need a bit more attention with their spelling or with their punctuation or their grammar, and this could be done in a non-threatening, enjoyable you know, environment. Where the parents could take charge of their children's learning and not just totally depend on school.
Well, you just reminded me of the quote that says, a child educated in school alone is an uneducated child.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to think who said that. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Einstein, but I do need to look that up again just to be sure. But it is a very powerful quote. You know, a child educated in school alone is an uneducated child.
We as parents are their first point of call.
Absolutely. And I always say that as parents, we are our children's first and continuous teachers, because I do believe that even as they grow and become adults, you know, we still have that kind of influence, that kind of what I still will look to my mum and ask her questions and ask for guidance and that kind of thing. So there's still that level of being our, you know, their first and continuous teachers. So it's important. And then what you were saying in reference to parents being key to our children's learning. Many a times, as from a teacher perspective, many a times the things that I would do in school, you know, they would go home and it would become undone in terms of the work that I was doing. So it's really important that even with the teachers and the parents, that they work together, that they're all on the same page and sowing the same seeds and working in the same direction in that sense, so that things doesn't become undone. And then also as parents, I believe that sometimes we have to go and give more and do more. Not sometimes, we have to do more. Sometimes we have to readjust what they've been taught in school. Sometimes we have to unlearn. We have to teach, we have to get them to unlearn some of the things in school. Certainly some of the limiting beliefs that may have been instilled in them whilst in that school environment. So it's important, as parents, that we are active in their education.
Definitely. We have to play that active role. We can't sit back. We can't be blinded. We can't be complacent. It is our role to take that front position and lead our children the way that they should go, really.
Okay. So you said that so you've just newly authored a book last year. Do you have a copy there with you to just put up and show? Yes, wonderful. The Blackout.
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell us what inspired you? First of all, tell us what the book is about, and then what inspired you to write that book.
Okay, so this is a young reader's book, The Blackout, and the main characters are, just let me hold it up again, Aunt Selena, and the reason why I named it that is because she's the parental voice, and she speaks from her soul to guide her nephew and her niece. And this is Edwina and this is Edwin, yes. And I named those characters because of the biblical saying that we are the head and not the tail. So we are the instigators. So Edwin, so I played on the word Edwina. So that we are the influencers, we are the ones that lead, we are the ones that lead by example. Yeah, we are the initiators. So the Blackout is about it's about Black inventors and their inventions. So you're taken through a course of their day. And so, for example, Edwina is looking to iron clothes because they're going out, and the iron board is missing, and it's like, oh, I can't go out because my dress needs ironing. And that's because Sarah Boom, the inventor of the iron board, is missing. So it's talking about what would life be. So it's making you realize, what would life be, your daily life be without these inventors? They once they get out of the house, they see this horrific traffic accident because the traffic lights are missing. Okay, and that's because Garrett Morgan is missing. He's the inventor of the traffic light. So it's just showing this significant impact of Black inventors and their inventions. So it's a non-fiction. So it's a fictional narrative with facts woven into the fictional story. So it's very informative and engaging, entertaining. It's very much loved by our young readers, and I must say by parents as well. Yeah.
And what I would say from that, I've seen some of the reviews on this, and there's many parents out there that said, oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't know that this item was, and I think that's what I think is just so beautiful about your book, is that it's highlighting all of the things that we use on a day-to-day basis and not recognizing that it is us as a people that created that. Yeah. And so for our young people to know that you are actually woven into the history woven into the into the fabric, into the day-to-day things that your creation, your ingenious is everywhere, you know, and you just don't know about it. And I think that is what is really beautiful about the Blackout. You know, what if they didn't invent it? What would life be like then?
It would be Blackout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's important to see that they have a place within society, and that they are not inferior, but they do play that we as a people play a significant role as any other counterpart.
Yeah. So why? Just expand on why you think it's important for our children to know these things, to know.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, I was inspired to write this. My art of writing is to create a language of positive representation. So I think it's very important for our children to have positive representation around them. And the book is about a positive representation about Black people in the past, present, and future. So letting them know that they too are a positive representation. There is nothing negative about them. And I also wrote the book to create an unquenchable thirst for them to follow their dreams. And also I also had parents in mind, so that there could be a discussion, or that parents could read with their children, and that they would be a key role of fortifying that unshakable ambition within their children. So I think that's really important. I mean, I've been questioned, is this book for Black children only, or Black families? Most certainly not. It's got Black characters. There's Black, my characters are Black, and so it should be, they're Black, but it's most certainly not excluding any other race. I mean, I so wanted my white school friends to know that my culture my history is rich, my history is wealth, my history is positive. My history isn't about starvation and poverty and chains and slavery, but it's about regalness. It's about royalty, and I think that's what the Blackout does, and we need more books about that. We need it on our school display boards. We need it in our libraries for our children to see, of all races. We need the eyes to see the positive representation. And, just thinking back to the doll test that Mammy and Kenneth Clark did. I don't know if you're familiar with the doll test, where
yes,
had the identical.
But explain, just in case some of our audience are not aware of the doll test.
Yes, they had the identical dolls. One was Black and the other was white, and they asked some questions like, which doll's the bad doll, which doll's the ugly doll, which doll's the clever doll, and ask questions. And majority of the children, both Black and white, always reached for the white doll when showing that that's what they thought of them positively, and all the negative thoughts went towards the Black doll. So I say all of this to say that Thurgood Marshall took the results of the dog test to the High Supreme Courts and showed them that, you know, the segregation and of Black and white students, the schools, was having a significant, horrific impact on our children's self-value and self-worth and progress. And so therefore it is important that we as parents are activists in our children's education and making sure that they are surrounded by language, visual, by that positive representation, that they can, you know, say, I am the head and I'm not beneath, you know, I am above and I can do this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do think that's important to the progress and the achievements of our children, to show them that they have that full, that potential. You know, thinking back in my childhood, you know, my school friends used to have plastered on their walls, you know, probably pictures of Duran Duran and their idols, and they knew everything there was to know about, you know, about John Taylor, whoever was.
Oh, we're showing our age.
They knew everything, you know, and they would aspire to be, you know, that person, you know, Madonna, whoever they aspired to be, and they saw them when they woke up, when they went to bed. And likewise, we too should have, you know, that constant story, that constant narrative, yeah, that should be visual in our children's lives, so that they can aspire. You know, I want to be a Sarah Boone. I want to be a C.J. Walker. I want to be a Garrett Morgan. You know, etc. You know, I am not downplaying Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, but there are so much other leading figures that our children need to know about, to aspire to motivate them.
Yes, totally. I mean, we just get in the curriculum, you get those three people all the time. Nelson Mandela. Your tokens. Yeah, absolutely. In that, and these are magnificent people, but it's only it's literally a handful, and that's it, and that's just recycled and recycled and recycled, and you don't get to see true or anything more than that. And then when it comes to, like, so it's quite fitting actually, because today is the 6th of October, which is that October in the UK is the Black History Month. So it's quite fitting that we're having this conversation as our first episode and talking about your book, The Blackout, and what life would be like if our Black inventors of these everyday things that we are using now in our house, now if they were missing, what that would be like. So it's so important, as you say, to have that representation, that we are capable of going forward as children, going forward and creating and doing and inventing and bringing things into need. You know, all inventions were created out of a need, you know, so what's to say that our children couldn't find that need and create that invention? They have the ability to do that, and your book shows them that it's possible, that, you know, we've done it before and we can continue to do it again in that sense. What's even more interesting about your book is the end part of it. Can you just explain more about that aspect of, because it's not just your straightforward fictional with fact information book. What else is it?
Okay, so when you come to the end of the story, that's not just it. It's not a book to put down and think, oh, that was a good read, and put it back on the bookshelf. There are learning experiences at the back of the book. There are reading and writing and art and craft learning experiences, which then helps to consolidate your creative skills and your reading skills and your writing skills, but also it also inspires you to to research and explore more about these great leaders, and it builds you up as a leader. It makes you want to think, it makes you think, oh, what else did they do? How did they get that? And as I said, you know, just like, you know, my school friends had their idols, or the people that they aspired to, I also think that, you know, it's important for us to have someone who looks like us that we can too aspire to.
Yes, and I think it's important that it's not just in the entertainment or sports field,
Definitely.
in the sports arena.
That's right. I mean, I am working on my next book.
Yes, that's right.
My next book, I can share the title. It's called I Know I Can. And it's about young boys and girls exploring their possible career choices, their interests, lawyers, entrepreneurs, doctors, nurses, engineers, like the hidden figures. And it's letting them know that they don't need to be boxed into this stereotypical. And please don't get me wrong, you know, our Marcus Rashford, you know, is great. And our, you know, our Williams sisters are great, and they also feature in the book. But we can go, you know, we've got a bigger scope. We're not just good sportsmen and good musicians, but we're good in law, we're educators, we're good with our hands, we're architects, we're good with our brains, we work out complicated, you know, calculations, and you know, we are phenomenal people. And it's important for us to know that, for us as parents to tell our children that they are phenomenal and that they can. And my key phrase in the book that runs, it's a thread through the book, is if you dream it, if you believe it, you can do it. So that's the thread that runs through the book. So if you believe it, if you dream it, you can do it. There's nothing impossible for you. You can do just as your friend that you sit with in the classroom, who doesn't look like you, right? You have the same capabilities as them. You're capable of achieving the same qualifications as them. So that's really important. And my books are, and as I said, it's not just for Black readers, it's for all, because it promotes cultural pride and cultural respect. And, you know, and also it's to counteract that annoying phrase. It so annoys me, that unconscious bias. My book is to wake up people, wake them up, to let them know who we are, and to build that respect and that unity. I have a dream.
That is brilliant. And so from both of your books are sowing the seed of belief. It's nurturing that. Believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, believe in what your people have done before you, believe in all of those things, that you are capable of creating and manifesting and bringing into being whatever it is that you set your mind to. And to me, I always say that's the foundational seed. You know, it starts with that belief. We can't do anything in that unless we believe, first of all, in ourselves and our ability to learn or to do or to grow and overcome. And without that initial seed of belief, Where are you?
Yeah, it is important for us as parents to sow that into our children.
Yeah. And
yes.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there is death and life in the power of the tongue. So it's really important that we speak positiveness into our children's life. And when we hear our children say, but I can't, but it's too difficult, we as parents have to reset that language and reset it to let them know that they are more than capable. Yeah. It's our role to do that. It's our role to guide them. It's our role to make them know, you are more than capable of doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Counteracting all the negativity that they may hear in the media, they may hear amongst peer groups. It's to counteract all of that.
Yes. And so that's, I can't. That's what I call it, can'tism. Yeah. I phrase that as can'tism, and they're always just in this. I can't do this, I can't do that, and no one really expects me to do it anyway. So what's the point? I can't do it. Might as well just give up. What's the point? And we get that attitude so much, and they carry that into their adult life. So it's so important that we change that language, and literally by saying something like, when they say I can't do it, you say I can't do it yet, but you will be able to, just switching it up a little bit by adding that yet, by shifting the energy into something different, by adding, because sometimes when you come with the positivity straight off, it just doesn't land, so just that slow little change by saying things like I can't do it yet, by adding that yet immediately just pulls it away from that final end, I can't do it and I'm finished kind of thing. And so they begin to build on that, their self-esteem. We begin to build their self-esteem. Language and what we speak to our children is so important, as in what we speak to ourselves.
Definitely.
Because I was saying to a parent the other day that, just because you're saying it to yourself doesn't mean that your children is not picking up on that and will begin saying those same things to themselves too. And you may be thinking that you're saying certain phrases quietly or silently or unconsciously, but our children pick up on our energies unconsciously. They pick up on the negative self-talk that you do, and they will emulate that as well. So we do have to be very, very mindful about the language that we use around our children and the language that we use for ourselves. We need to edify ourselves and lead by example so that our children can do the same.
Definitely. And also creating an environment that presents positive representation as well.
Yes, I agree.
That's very key. And as you said, leading by example.
Yeah.
Expose them to things that will inspire them. Expose them to literature that will inspire them. Yes, they may see on the TV, the Hello Kitty, but I'm not saying that they can't read that, but also show them that there is books such as the Blackout that you can read. My nephew came home a few weeks ago and says, we learnt about Florence Nightingale. And I says, that's wonderful. What about Mary Seacole? Do you know about her? And we have just got to, okay, that's what the school's doing. This is what I'm doing as a parent. And we have to be active, making sure that it is balanced and it is not one-sided, making them lose their identity, their self-worth, their self-esteem. It's important, so we as parents may have to pick up a book and educate ourselves in order to equip us to educate our children.
Yes, We definitely do. Not may have to, we definitely do. We definitely do need to be taking that journey together. We definitely do need to be empowering ourselves and our children, you know, to be the best version of ourselves. And that's by learning about ourselves. So as we're teaching our children, we're teaching ourselves. As we're sowing those seeds into our children, we're sowing those seeds into ourselves. We're taking the journey together and we're leading by example. This is how we will transform a generation to believe and to be that abundant, to step into their greatness, to reveal who they really are. As you were saying, it's important that we open our children's eyes to the world of possibilities, you know, to take limiting beliefs, well, first of all, not put limiting beliefs in their minds in the first instance, but to open them up to all of the things that is possible and to let them believe that everything is possible, because really it really is. And when we look at things, you know, it's our own belief that gets in the way of our successes. More than anything, it's what we say, what we believe, we get in our own way. So if we can teach our children to have that strong belief in themselves and what it is that they want and their ability to do it, that will make the hugest amount of difference. It will transform, you know, lives. The world will be different for our children and for our parents at the same time. I believe that. I really do believe that.
Definitely.
Okay, so what's your big vision, your overall vision for your work that you're doing?
My overall vision is to, and I'm on that journey, is to go beyond the walls of the classroom and make groundbreaking footprints globally. Reaching children, you know, from all walks of life, inspiring them, giving them hope, giving them guidance, giving them examples of who they are and who they can be. So that's, you know, I would love to create a place. I mean, I know I've spoken to you about this, haven't I? I would love to have my own show and create a play school. You know, can you remember play school with, I think it was Jemima, let's look through the round window. Okay, you know, probably my play school would be let's look through Africa's window and let's look through yeah. So you know, let's look through the mentors' windows. But yes, definitely I would like to expand upon what I'm doing, creating resources that reflect us, you know, working as a Senko and looking at the resources that were available in school. None of the faces, none of the, they never looked like us. It didn't look like our Black children. So our children who was in need of, who had special needs, when they had visual timetables, there was nobody on that visual timetable that looked like them. So they was visualizing something that they couldn't identify with. And I want to create resources like this to motivate and for our children to be able to identify with. Definitely.
So those resources are improving now. There are, I will say that in that sense that, you know, we are getting some better resources in the school to represent more of the children in that school, but we're still so far away from anything of substantial.
Far away.
Very
far away.
Yeah.
There's you know, out of the literature, there's 4% of Black characters that are represented in children's books that are represented in our literature. 4%.
Yes.
That's nothing.
And I've recently seen, I mean, like I said, you know what I was saying about in terms of inventions occur out of a need. And so I've recently seen, you know, quite a few young mothers or mothers creating products and things for their young children that will represent them, because they can't find things out there. So there's a magazine in the shops now. I think it's called Brown Girl or something like that. I can't remember the
Cocoa Girl.
Say that again.
Cocoa Girl. Cocoa.
Yes. Yeah. Cocoa Girl, that's it, Cocoa Girl. And then there is some backpacks and books and pencils that's got these lovely representation of young Black children on the books, on the backpacks and things and stuff. And so there is more and more. And when you speak to other, I've seen some interviews, and again, it's that because it was created because there was nothing that represented my child whilst they were reading or whilst they were learning or whilst, so we had to create it for ourselves to ensure that their self-image was that they had a positive self-image of themselves and a positive representation of themselves, because every child needs that. We all need that. We all need that to so that we can blossom and grow into the wonderful, magnificent beings that we're supposed to be. So yeah, it's amazing.
Definitely, as you said, it's about sowing the seeds so that we can harvest wealth, riches, self-worth, self-love. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. And we're back. I do believe we're back. So I just wanted to say a huge apologies for that interruption there. My Zoom just decided to just quit on me. Just completely quit and just left Marcia there, and bless my co-host Beata there talking. So I apologize for that deeply. It's taken a moment, hopefully, and we can pick back up to where we were. So hopefully everyone that was watching will jump back in as well. So we was coming to the end. I just didn't want it to end in that way, because I want our audience to know how to get in touch with. So if they were inspired by what you were saying, you know, actually before how to get in touch with you, what is one thing that you think as a parent that we could do now to really begin to sow these seeds into our children?
Well, I think it's really important that we are visionaries for our children, that we are insightful, that we do not close our eyes, that we are very alert to what's happening, that we follow our children, guide our children during their journey. And I think, you know, one thing that you could start with is, you know, creating that time. Yes, we are all busy doing this and doing that. You know, life has us, you know, north, east, west, south. But I think it's really important to have that time where you can discuss, you know, and where you can guide, where you can listen. It's really important, because that will inform you how you can support your child in their journey. And also, you know, have regular affirmations, you know, that will meet and inspire the needs of your children. Have it on the fridge, you know, have it on the bedroom wall, and you know, teach them how to speak into their life. Remember, I did say that there is power and depth in the tongue, but it's important for us to teach our children to speak life into their journey, so that they can become who they have been created to be, and that is fearfully and wonderfully made.
Brilliant. All right, you know, I'm there's so much more that I could talk with you about, you know, and I definitely think we need to have you come back in on another time. But I'm getting little warnings that my internet connection is not stable, and I don't want it to jump out on us before the audience get to hear where they can get in touch with you. So people want to get more information and perhaps, you know, talk some more about you, to you. How can they get hold of you?
Yes, definitely. You can contact me on Learn. That is L for Lima, E for Echo, A for Alpha, R for Romeo, and N for November at learnibwaves@gmail.com.
All right, so that's Learn
IBwaves at gmail.com.
Okay, so we'll make sure that that's put in the comment under this stream, that they'll be able to get hold of you, and of course on your Facebook profile as well. So thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. I'm sorry that technology is messing us around a bit today, but we managed to get quite a good way in before we had any technical issues in that sense. So I just want to kind of like wrap up this episode by saying, as we said previously, throughout this, you know, as parents, we are our children's first and continuous teachers, and we must recognize the impact that we have on our children's beliefs about themselves, about others, and about the world around them. And that's both positive and negatively. So, you know, we have to be that positive. Let's be the positive and show our children how to be the best versions of themselves while we are being the best version of us. So visionary parenting is here to help you and support you to do that. Okay, so I would like to say tune into the next episode, which will be in 2 weeks' time, where I will have the wonderful Gary Talbot joining me, speaking to me about his journey in parenting as a parenting expert and the 12 laws of parenting. I'd also like to take the opportunity at this point as well to recommend a website for you that's got some amazing resources that work for both for parents and children around STEM learning, as well. It's actually STEAM as well, because they have art and English in there. It's an amazing platform. So if you go to STEM Career for You today, that's STEMCAREER4, the number 4, and then you.today. If you go there, you'll be able to have a look around on the website and see there's amazing resource that's available there for you. And if I remember rightly, it's only $60 for the whole year's access to some amazing educational resources that you can use, whether your child is in school or if you're homeschooling. And if you use the code LearnShare, I'm going to double check that, and I'm going to put the information in the comment book, but I believe if you use the code LearnShare, you would also get a 5% discount on that. So for $60 with a 5% discount for the whole year for these brilliant resources on this website. I wish I had these while I was still in the classroom teaching. It would make such my work and my life so much easier, having these fantastic prepared resources ready to teach. I'm telling you, you know, I would have been doing that just for myself, whether the school wanted it or not. I would have been doing it. That website is amazing. So once again, it's STEMcareerforyou.today, and the code to use is LearnShare. We'll put the information in the comment in the thread of this episode. So once again, Marcia Anderson Mckenzie, thank you so much.
Thank you
for your time, your energy.
Yeah.
You know, it has been a wonderful conversation. I'm definitely going to speak with you again, because there's still so much to explore.
There's a lot more.
There's a lot more. This was
the warm-up.
This is the warm-up, exactly. You know, so we're going to talk some more. We're going to do it again. And everyone else, just keep tuning in, because I'm sure there was so much nuggets of wisdom in there, so much insight, that you'll be able to go and do some things, do some stuff with your kids now, and begin to sow those seeds of success within your children and within you. Let's transform this generation. Let's transform ourselves and our children to live abundant lives defined by us. So thank you again. And I'm going to end that here before it ends it for me. So have a good one. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Once again, Marcia, thank you. Thank you so much. And take care. Blessings.
Take care.
And good night.